Hey everyone, welcome back to Bird Talk with Terence Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel Atlanta Sports Unlimited and turn on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the simplest sports fantasy game on the market. You can pick from multiple sports platforms and get this. Sign up using the code ASU and Prize Picks will 100% match your initial offer up to $100. Download the app for free at the Google Play Store or the App Store. Well, the season is officially over, and the Atlanta Falcons, after an embarrassing loss to their hated rival, the New Orleans Saints, 48-17. And that hated rival part probably is even worse now, and we'll get to that in a minute. But the biggest news from yesterday, or shall I say early this morning, about 12:01 a.m. Eastern time, the Falcons did part ways with head coach Arthur Smith. Um, I think, we don't want anyone to lose their job in any facet of life. That's not a thing people just want to wish for. But I think this was the right thing for the Atlanta Falcons moving forward. Something had to change. And then we'll go ahead from there. T, what do you got what do you think first off about the head coaching news?
Well, here it is. We all assumed this was coming. Um, we all kind of predicted, well, not all of us, some of us predicted that it was coming. But here's the thing: 3 years ago, Arthur Smith, Arthur Blank, Rich McKay, and others thought this was the right thing and right situation for the head coach. And there was a lot of optimism going in and whatsoever. And going into this third year, we felt on paper that we were in the driver's seat of winning the division and get into the playoffs. And it just didn't work out. That's what happens. It just didn't work out. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are, what kind of character you have, how much money you have, what your parents do, whatsoever. It's all about wins and losses. And it
Right.
just didn't work out. And I'm not and I feel bad, that it didn't work out for him. But it was one of those things that he had an opportunity that a lot of us wish we had to be a head coach for NFL franchise. And he had an opportunity to do that, and it just didn't work out for him. Will he land on his feet somewhere? I'm sure he will. But at the same time, we wish him luck. It just didn't work out here in Atlanta. I have nothing, yeah, things didn't work out. His system didn't work out. The weapons he's had wasn't utilized properly. First 2 years, defense probably failed you, and then this year, down the road, the defense didn't play as well, and things just quarterback situation kind of hampered you and handcuffed you. So there's things that happened that caused this, but at the end of the day, I wish him nothing but the best, and I hope he lands on his feet somewhere.
Well, not to be facetious, but he'll be okay financially. We don't have to worry about him landing on his feet because wherever he
Right,
lands, he'll still be perfectly fine.
right,
Now, as far as his head coaching career with the Atlanta Falcons, we've just been on a downturn for about 6 years now since 2017. So the Falcons needed something. We're coming off that Dan Quinn,
right,
those 3 years, those last 3 years, how it went
right,
down, and
right,
then we were expecting something fresh,
right,
and you and I talked about it. We said rebuild, and the reason why I bring that up is because the Atlanta Falcons just had a press conference with
mhm,
Arthur Blank and Rich McKay.
right.
There was no Terry Fontenot in sight, who is the GM.
Mhm,
Um, and as you know, the head coach was fired, and that was odd to everyone watching. That was odd to
mhm,
the media.
mhm,
Where's Terry at? So that kind
mhm,
of leaves us to believe that. Well, it doesn't lead us to believe. Rich McKay basically said he runs the team. He admitted that um, Arthur and Terry will have to report to him and any future head coach.
right,
And we'll get to possible coaching candidates because I'm
right.
also thinking that is going to probably cause a problem right
Yeah,
there in its own.
yeah,
But the point I was bringing up is Rich McKay admitted that it was a rebuild, and
right.
he just didn't want to use that word back then. And we all knew it. Terrence said it right here that it was a rebuild 3 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, I said that 3 years ago was a rebuild, but at the end of the day, I said going into that second year, you can't talk rebuild anymore. If you're
Correct.
not trying to win football games right now, you should not be in this business. And
Hmm.
I'm talking about from ownership down. If you're just trying to say, "Hey, let's stack our chips and hopefully we can go all in one day. It don't work that way because you're going to lose some hands as you lose games, as you lose seasons whatsoever. And that's what happened with this football team. And the thing is to try to rebuild with not having a quarterback to rebuild with was a mistake by this organization. I'm not saying Arthur Smith, by this organization.
Right.
And I listened to probably 10 minutes of the interview and I turned it off because right away it told me that Rich McKay is pretty much put himself in the same seat or next to the seat and calling a shot as an owner. And I'm going, oh my God, this is unprecedented. This is unheard of. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing, and I had to turn it off because, and then this is what I had to do because, everybody, like you said, everybody was talking about where's the GM, and Arthur said, hey, he's back taking care of some person, talking to personnel whatsoever, and I get that, I understand that, and he even alluded to that he was in the decision making of hiring Arthur Smith, and I was like, wait a minute, math don't add up. I thought he was hired about 4 or 5 days after Arthur Smith, and I
That was
said
the
that
same thing I
add
was
up.
thinking.
And I'm going, wait a minute, this not making any sense.
Mhm.
So I had to look up something. It says, I said, what does a GM of an NFL team do? I had to look it up. It says the general manager is also normally the person who hires and fires the coaching staff, including the head coach. The general manager will, in many cases, have oversight of the entire football department, typically reporting to the team president, CEO, or owner. Now, we talked about the CEO, the owner, and the GM. What is Greg Beatles? He's the president of the team. What is his role? So
Right.
he skipped over by any decision making when it comes to the football operations. And again, maybe I'm just old school and I thought the GM was, he does report to the CEO, the president, and to the owner, but also I thought there was a collaboration, which they said a collaboration between the GM and the head coach on personnel decision making. And I thought that was the case. I thought that the coaching staff goes to the GM and the personnel department says, hey, this is what we need to be successful. They do their homework and says, hey, here's a list of guys that we think will fit what you need. Let's take a closer look at them. And then they make a decision that way. I didn't know that they collaborate and come up with a list and go to the CEO and to say, the CEO, what do you think?
Yes.
And he makes the final decision. I didn't know that. And I'm not saying anything that if was asked of me by Rich McKay what I said, or by Arthur Blank of what I said, I wouldn't say it to their face.
Mhm.
It seems to me that we're still doing the same things we've been doing over the last 20 something years.
Right. Right.
Is this the way we've been operating over the last 20 something years? Um, where's this getting us? So when I said something has to change a week ago, I knew there was going to be a coaching change. I don't know what's going to happen in the personnel department, but the way we go about business, you have to look at, I said it last week, got to look yourself in the mirror. Am I doing the right things to help this franchise win championships? Or am I just happy to have autonomy, full power over this organization to say yes, no, whatsoever? And my owner gives me that autonomy because he outright said, I don't know much about football, so I lean on Rich McKay. Now, it seems like to me, Rich McKay been making all the decisions over the years whatsoever. I heard Arthur Blank says, when it comes to hiring the coach, there's collaborative, things go on, but I have the final say. Does Rich McKay give you that, hey, this is the guy we're supposed to have, and you say yes, okay, if you think that's the guy, let's go with it? Because and then you hear people saying, well, we have hired coaches that's never had head coaching experience. Let's stop that. Let's get the guy that's best qualified. How about that? And to me, when I say best qualified, is this: can you Can you motivate and encourage a locker room? Can you make in-game decisions? Can your coaching staff trust you? Can the players trust you?
Mhm.
Are you going to do what you say you're going to do? And when it doesn't work, are you the one to step up and say, I made a mistake, I'm gonna do things differently? That's the best man. I don't care where you coaching, and I don't care how your offense is playing, I don't care how your defense is playing, and I don't care if you was a head coach before. Can you galvanize young men to perform at a high level? That's all that matters, because at the end of the day, the head coach, when it comes to football X's and O's, is the CEO. And the guys he put around him as offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special team coordinator, and all these positions are the ones that make the magic work. It's like this. It's like gumbo. If you ain't got the right stuff in gumbo, it's just soup. It's just soup when it comes to it. You have to have the right ingredients and everything that matches and whatever it makes to make that thing pop. And that's what a chef does when he makes his gumbo. And that's what a coach does when he makes his team to go out there and play and produce at a high level. He has to have the ingredients to do it. And that's coaching and players. And I'm telling you, without a bona fide quarterback in this league, you're not going to be successful. You
Right.
can't be successful. This is not high school. This is not high school. this is not
You-
this is not college where your quarterback can be okay, but then you have some dudes around. This is the National Football League.
I was
This
gonna say you could use a different food reference besides gumbo.
I get
Especially
it.
after yesterday. What do
I
you
get
think?
it. And I know we want to talk about what happened at the end of the game yesterday, and we can go there. I'm willing to talk about that.
Yeah, but real quick before, since you're still talking about the coaches and the GM, like people have thrown out the names Belichick. I've heard the Harbaugh. These are two guys that I know they want a lot of control. How would a situation like that work with a Rich McKay? It doesn't seem like it will. So I feel like Falcon fans should go ahead and wash their brain of some of these ideas of what they have, because they're telling you what they want. They want another person that they can put there, and they kind of control everything because Terry doesn't have any control. Rich McKay said that he didn't hire the coach and he can't fire the coach. Like the coach doesn't report to Terry. He
Right,
said it himself.
right.
Terry and the coach will report to me.
Right. So Belichick, Harbaugh, come on, guys, really? I mean, yeah. Would I like to see that happen? I don't know, because at the end of the day, if the hierarchy is where it is, hierarchy is the way it is, and continues to be that way, I don't see these two coaches coexisting with Rich McKay. Look, I don't see it happening. I don't know he may have a good relationship with these two guys that we don't even know about. But at the end of the day, I know that Belichick, he's so long in the tooth and he's so in his ways, he's gonna want to do things his way and with no
Yeah,
interference.
he
I
is
know,
the GM.
yeah, he is the GM. And here it is. If I'm gonna leave college football and leave 8, 9, $10 million on the table, I'm not coming somewhere where I'm gonna be a puppet and
Yeah.
you're gonna be the puppet master. No, that he ain't gonna do that. And I get it. That's just wishful thinking. And since we're talking about vacancies in the NFL, here's one job I think people should not even discuss at all. Stop trying to put people in this man's seat. I think he deserves his chance. He went out there, he turned his franchise around to the old Raiders that it used to be. Leave Antonio Pierce alone. And he should be, today, they should be working on a contract for this man, because these guys will run through walls for him. And that's the kind of coach you want. And
Exactly.
and once they get them a quarterback whatsoever, they're gonna be dynamic. They will be dynamic. And so leave that job alone. Now all the rest of them you can talk about, but
And that
leave that one.
goes back to your point earlier where you were saying that you don't the people when people are like, I want a coach that's already got a head coaching experience. Well, the
Mhm.
problem also with that is, just say if you want to go a different route, that kind of limits. If you go off that philosophy that limits.
Yeah.
Meaning there's only
Yeah.
three black head coaches.
Come on, man.
So if there's not
Come on,
many
man.
black head coaches, where are you gonna get
Come
them
on.
from? They had to been a
Come on, man.
coordinator. They
Come
had to
on, man.
been like
That
so.
that's pretty much saying this is, and I hate when people say we need coaches with head coaching experience. You just told probably 95% of minority candidates just don't even apply.
Don't even apply
Don't even apply. You
because they
just
haven't been head coaches.
because they haven't been head coaches.
Right,
So let's not do that. And it's not about black and white. It's about
right,
being fair,
correct.
man. Being fair. We ain't talking about black and white. We talking about the best candidate
Mhm.
available. And I don't care if he's green. If he's the best available candidate, hire him.
And the
So
reason why I say that is because Antonio Pierce is an
yes,
example. He wasn't a head coach.
yes,
The guys are rallying behind him in Vegas. And like you said, that team seems like they would run through a wall for that guy.
right,
So it seems like a no-brainer. You want that type of chemistry in the locker room that they're going
right,
to play hard for.
right.
And
Here's the thing that people don't understand about the psychic of a player. That's why Dan Reeves was successful. Had some success with us when we played. Is because when we go through a situation, not even on the field, off the field, also is that he can say, "I've done that.
mhm,
I've been through that. I've seen that. I understand that. Understand the locker room dynamics, understand the off-field dynamics, the travel dynamics, the game dynamics, the money dynamic. A guy that understands that can say, "Hey, I lived it. I understand it. I have sympathy for you. Hey, I'm gonna fight for you, and I'm gonna fight with you because I understand." Not a guy that just X's and O's, just saying, "Hey, we're gonna do this, and we're great at this, we're great at this," but not a good communicator
right.
who can't when the guy's in a funk and he's dropping balls or he just can't get himself together that he hit a wall and you just keep saying, "Hey, just keep going, keep pushing, I keep going." No, no, no. I'm that guy that says, "Oh, I've hit a wall before. I've been there as a rookie. I understand, but this is how we're going to get you through it." And I'm just saying, best candidates. I'm not saying you have to be a former player, but what I'm saying that you got to at least have empathy for these grown men. And you saying, "Well, you get paid a lot of money to do this and get paid a lot of money." So if you get paid a lot of money, if I gave you $30 million a year
Mhm.
and said, "Hey, you should be the greatest brain surgeon in the world because I just gave you $30 million a year." So, but there's a guy that's making 3 million. That's an excellent brain surgeon, but you ain't expecting nothing from him because he only makes $3 million a year. That's what it is about sports. Because you make $100 million a year, you're supposed to make every play. You're supposed to win every game. You're supposed to be flawless. But that guy that's making every play and doing everything right, grading out 95 to 100% each week, and only making $1 million a year, when he drops the ball, it's like, he only making $1 million a year.
Mhm.
He's okay to drop balls. Come on, man. Hold everybody to the same standard. Everyone to the same standard.
And speaking of the standard, we got to get what kind of got us to this point. Like I said earlier, the Falcons got embarrassed. They started off like world beaters. They were in the game
Mhm, mhm,
first quarter. You're like, oh my gosh. At least I was like, oh, this is what the offense we've been looking for. It's crazy. It's showing up the last the last game when
mhm,
jobs are on the line and
mhm,
Ritter the wheel route to Bijan. You just saw
mhm,
glimpses like this is what we've been wanting to see all
mhm,
year.
mhm,
And
mhm,
then the second half, the truth showed its face, and
mhm,
multiple turnovers by the offense. We didn't run the ball, even though we ran it so much on the Saints
mhm,
the previous games.
mhm,
And then it was exclamated point, so to speak, by the end of the game.
mhm.
Falcons had benched Ritter again.
Right.
Woodside was in, and Woodside
Mhm,
throws a
mhm,
interception that gets returned.
mhm,
End of the game, looks like the Saints are going to do a victory kneel, run
mhm.
out the clock, but instead, Jameis Winston audibles and they hand it off to Jamal Phillips or Williams, and they run in and score, and he gets a
Yeah,
touchdown. And then
yeah,
after the game, it led to Arthur Smith trying,
yeah.
being a tough guy, yelling
Mhm,
at DA
mhm,
Dennis Allen, the coach of the Saints. And it turned out, though, that it was all orchestrated by Jameis Winston. But
Right.
Tell me about the game, and then tell me about how you feel as a former player about that moment, because there's a lot of talk about it on Twitter from former
Hmm.
players and current players.
Hmm. Well, here about the game.
Oh, and one thing I want to say real quick before
Yeah.
then, as a Falcon fan, twofolds, I expect that from the Saints.
Hmm.
I want whoever the head coach come in know this is a heated rivalry. Like
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
see, it goes to whatever lengths, and then at the same
Hmm.
time, I was just worried about players getting hurt.
Hmm.
Uh, but go ahead.
Well, here's about the game. I thought we came out with a sense of urgency. I thought in the second half, I think somebody told them what the score of the Tampa Bay game was. And then it looked like they just shut it down. It looked like they didn't
Hmm.
want to tackle anymore. They didn't want to block anymore. They didn't want to run routes. They didn't want to throw the ball. It looked like they were just wanting to get on the bus, get on the plane. And I'm just saying that's what it looks like. I'm not
Right.
just saying that's what they did, but I'm just saying that's what it looks like. And then you know bench Ritter in that last 6 minutes or so of the game, and we thought it would, like you said, Woodside throws the interception, and Tyron didn't want to score. He was waiting to get tackled. He knew it was over. He's just ran out of bounds and fell. Um, and then, like you said, the last play of the game. Here's what I'm gonna say about that. And and if I was on that sideline as a player, I would laugh and shake my head and go, "Ooh, I can't wait till next year." I'm not mad. I'm just going, man, that's embarrassing. Man, they did that to us. Man, I'm embarrassed. I'm not why get mad? I'm embarrassed more than anything
Hmm.
because first of all, we threw the interception. He ran it to the 1 yard line. And you're always taught in victory formation. I don't care if you offensively or defensively, be prepared for whatever happens. That's what you always taught that. And I know you thinking, well, this game over with. Yeah, you let your guard down and they scored. Was it hey man, it is what it is. It happened. And the thing is, Arthur Smith, he got upset, which is it's rightfully so, he got upset, but he didn't allow Dennis Allen to explain what happened.
Hmm.
So do you go back and call Dennis Allen and say, hey man, I'm sorry for the outburst I had, because at the end of the day, we always taught, hey, if I'm mad at you as a coach whatsoever, I'm gonna hug you and tell you in your ear, that was chicken, whatever it
Yeah.
was. And then the next day we have a conversation over the phone and explain what happened. But I get it. He frustrated, upset, season's over with, you know, let your guard down at the end. I get it. And I understand it. And then, you know, people like Shannon Sharp went off on Winston about what he did. He needs to be fired now, cut from the team. Look, man. Hey, look, season's over with. Their season's over with. He's gonna be a free agent. Hey, man, don't leave that man's money alone. That's his career. That's his thing. Leave him alone. We can say whatever we want to say, but we don't know what we would do in that situation unless we in that situation. And former players that's talking whatsoever, it has never happened to us before.
Hmm.
It's had never happened. It's happened before halftime when you thought somebody was going to spike the ball and they didn't spike it and they threw a touchdown or whatsoever. But, it's happened before in that history, but not to kneel down victory formation. But me personally, I'm I will be upset. I'm not gonna be upset where I'm gonna lose sleep about it. I'm not gonna be upset where I want to fight about it. I'm just gonna circle that date when we play you again, and we're gonna embarrass you this time. And that's
That's
what it comes down to.
no,
You
exactly
can talk about it, all you want, but you can't do nothing about it until next year.
right.
That's it. That's it.
No, and I'm glad to hear you say that, because that's what I figured that, and I hope that the players are, and the motive. I know it's a long ways away, but like you said, when it rolls around, and I even hope the new head coach. I mean, if he wants to get brownie points from the fan base,
Yeah.
you come in and say, "Hey, I seen what they did. We're gonna get
Mhm.
them back." That would definitely put a smile on people's faces, because
W-
yeah, that
w-
was uh,
Yeah, and one other thing, and I heard that if for him getting a touchdown, it could have been an incentive for him to get a bonus whatsoever. Those rumors are going around, and if that's so, there's not a player or a former player that wouldn't have done the same thing if it was a bonus tied to him scoring a touchdown. Don't tell me you wouldn't have done that. If
Right.
your teammate needed a touchdown for an extra $300,000 or so, you telling me you wouldn't do that for your teammate? I don't care. I don't care if you're the opponent. Look, hey, at the end of the day, hey man, get your money. Game over with. Get your money. So if that was the case, if that's why it was done, I can't fault that. I can't
Yeah.
fault that
And I'm
because at
not
the end of the
sure if it was because I was trying to find that and
yeah, I'm not
I
sure
don't
if it
think,
was.
yeah, I don't think.
I've heard things of people saying it, but I'm not sure if it was. But I do know. I forgot what game I was watching.
Mhm.
Oh, it was Cincinnati. Um, Mixon needed a touchdown to get 350,000, and they made sure his teammates
Right.
made sure he got 350,000. But here's the crazy thing about it, which people don't understand: the other team knows it too.
Mhm.
Don't think they don't know. If he gets X amount of catches, if he does this, he's going to get an extra bonus. If the game is out of hand and it's over with, usually a case in point,
Mhm.
the Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
McLaurin needed 16 yards for 1,000 to have 3 in a row. What does Dallas do? They play 10 yards off
And let him.
and let them get a quarterback. I mean, the wide receiver screen, they come up slow, and then they rally and make the tackle. Come on, man. It's brotherly love in this game. Y'all just don't understand, especially when a guy needs something, we're gonna look out for each other. Not
Right.
point blank, we're gonna look out for each other. You're gonna say, oh, that's dirty, that's wrong. No, it's not, because your employee at your job would do the same thing for you.
No, definitely. Well, I hope they would, but yeah. um, the Falcons will have the number 8th pick for 3
Uh,
straight years.
uh,
Um, I'm already so beside the head coach, the most important thing we all know is a quarterback.
mhm,
Whoever comes in knows that without a doubt that if,
mhm,
as you said, if we've had a quarterback, this team had all the other pieces. We just needed that
mhm,
one piece to probably get us over the edge.
mhm.
And now hopefully they'll do that. But with this 8th pick, you know, I'm all on board with whatever we have to do to get the best guy.
Well,
If we
yeah,
if we can't get that Justin, if we can even
yeah,
get to the 1 or
yeah,
the 2 pick, I'm
yeah,
on board with if we've got to sacrifice a couple of years first rounds to move up, and we're already at 8.
right.
I mean, I don't know. How do
Well,
you feel
well,
about that?
I think, me personally, and you don't have to agree with me whatsoever. Me personally, I would go out and get a veteran quarterback in free agency,
Mhm.
on a 1 to 2 year deal, and then draft a quarterback at the 8th pick and slowly bring him along. Um, give him a year or two to learn the speed of the game, learn the offense, and learn from a veteran guy. That's what I would do, because that veteran guy is going to give you at least 4 or 5 wins, and then everybody else do their job. There's another, maybe 7 wins there somehow, some way. So that's my feeling with it. You if you don't want to do that, just go ahead and draft the quarterback outright, and whoever comes in here, he better be a quarterback whisperer, because this city is very impatient when it comes to that position.
Yeah,
So whatever you do there, it has to be a great match between that head coach, the offensive coordinator, and that quarterback. So I think this is the time where if you don't want to do that, um, later down, hey, get your edge rusher, and then or get a free agency edge rusher, and then draft a quarterback. Whatever you want to do. I don't, they got a lot of options, and they got a lot of great options, but this time you got to get it right. You got to
gotta get it right.
I'm not saying you didn't get it right the first 3 times, but this time you got to get a quarterback, because you didn't you talked about rebuild. We should be in this process where this guy is right now. Okay, he's an all pro caliber because he's had 3 years under his belt. He made it to the Pro Bowl. Now it's time for him to elevate us to a different level. And with drafting the guy at 8, do we have? Are we going to give them that luxury of 2 to 3 years? And those CJ Stroud guys, they're a dime in a dozen, man. They don't come along often. And I know you, but lightning could strike again. You never
Well,
know.
well, I know we're gonna have a close to the draft, but
Right.
I know you mentioned a veteran,
Yeah.
but just out of the available collegiate quarterbacks that are coming out, which one would you like to have? You know, you have
You know what?
Williams, you have Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Michael Penix playing tonight.
Yeah, I don't know because it's hard to say because if a coach was in place, it's easier for me to pick. But
Hmm.
without a coach being
We'll
here,
say you're the coach.
if, oh wow, if I'm the coach, I may have to go with Penix.
Okay. And that's
Um,
somebody might could get
yeah,
still at our eighth pick, and we don't have to move up to get
yeah,
him.
because he's one that I think that has the ability to sit in the pocket, to read coverages, the ability to move around a little bit, whatsoever. I think he's more patient um, as a passer than the rest. If that's the best I can say. I think he's not easily to say, okay, I don't like this, I'm gonna run. I think he's gonna understand the system because he's old enough, mature enough, gonna understand the system and understand the assignment and go do the assignment. That's what I believe.
All right, all right, all right. I don't have any objections with that. I worried a little bit about Penix's past injury
Health.
history
Yeah,
and health,
yeah.
and
But
that goes with
you know,
the.
I
But
yeah,
I
but
agree with
I
you. I
think he'll
think
be
he's
fine.
the best.
Yeah,
Like he has the best ball, best
yeah,
thrower
yeah,
out of what's out
yeah,
there, and I
yeah.
guess we'll see tonight on this national championship
Yeah,
stage.
we'll see.
What
We'll
you
see.
got for us to end the show?
I'm gonna leave it at this. I'm gonna just say I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it plenty times, and I'm gonna tell you, go to Book of John. I think it's the second chapter, verse 24. I think it is, and it says Jesus didn't trust man because he knew who man was. That's it. That's it.
Uh,
Plain and simple.
no, you're
Plain and
right.
simple.
You're right.
Mhm.
I mean, if Jesus
Plain and
didn't
simple.
trust man, then why should I as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
It,
Atlanta Falcons. I know somebody that could definitely be a part of this staff. If not the head coach, at least be a part of the staff. Like we've got to. I feel like in Atlanta they don't take enough inward look at what they have.
well, William, I would love to be a part of this organization at some capacity. Um, but at the end of the day, are you gonna you're gonna hire me and get what you get? You see what I'm saying? You're gonna
No,
get
I
what you
got you.
get. So you know,
Basically, he ain't gonna be a puppet.
um, and I think, somebody said this to me years ago, says, "Hey, Terrence, you speak your mind too much, you talk too much, you got to play the game." I says, "Why I got to be less of a man to get a job?" And I never do that.
I agree
Why I gotta
wholeheartedly.
why I gotta sell my soul and who I am and what I believe in just to get a job. At the end of the day, I want to feel good. Hey, I don't want to like, dang, walk in the house and you trying to teach your children, your grandchildren how to be respectful and respectable and to speak your mind, and you going to work every day and just pretending. No, that's not me. That's not me.
No, I respect it, and that's 100% real. You know that's how you should be.
Yes, sir.
Um, I once we offered Terry to come on the show. I hope if you watch it, Terry, we still like to have you on. I'd like to hear your side of the story of things, but
Oh, I told you, I read to you what a GM is supposed to do. But
yeah,
you know what? You know what, man? Here's the thing. Um, we all have opinions. We all feel a certain way about things whatsoever. And I'm not ever going to say your opinion is wrong. I'm not going to say my opinion is right. We can agree to disagree. And that's the beauty of the platforms that has been presented in front of us. But the thing is that I want each and one of us to respect what each other say, and at the end of the day, no one's dumber or smarter or stupider or stupid or as the other one. Is just what how we interpret things internally
mhm.
differently than you. That don't make us any smarter or any dumber than you. It's just that's the way we interpret things, and it's okay to speak about it. And then we're supposed to be smart enough, intelligent enough to come back and say, "Hey, this is why I feel this way," and I understand your point of view, but this is the way I feel, and it's okay. It's okay. But I see the ugliness on social media, and it's hey, everybody, yeah, some people say some outrageous things sometimes, and I just laugh. But you just move on.
Yeah.
Just move on. Move on. Move
Right.
on. Because everything don't pertain to you. Everything is not everything that's said on social media is not to you, so don't take it personally. It's not meant for you. They're not attacking you. So don't take it personally. Just keep moving. Keep moving.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the future holds. I'm also a little worried and apprehensive, but we'll see. We'll see.
I, you know what? Before we go, I want to say this. That press conference was, I don't know, it was like it was impromptu. It wasn't like they sat and talked about, okay, this what might happen, these questions might come, this is how we're going to address this. It seemed like to me, Rich McKay said, hey, Arthur, I got this. I'm the CEO. Everybody answers to me. I'm the alpha dog. I make all the decisions. Don't worry about it. I got this. You've been saying that for years now. I got this. Okay. Okay. And here's the thing, guys. And I'm gonna see Rich McKay at an event whatsoever. He's gonna say to me, "Hey, Terence, good to see you. If there's ever anything I can do for you, just give me a call." And know what I'm gonna tell him? Stop saying that to me because you're not.
That's real.